Thank you for joining me if you are. Today, I wanted to go over some sauna user tips. Instead of rambling, just taking some feedback from some of you, I'm trying to get to the guts versus the explanation and the sales pitch all the time. But I do have a couple of reminders. There is a review contest going on with Life Pro, so I'm dropping the details on that after the fact. So don't forget to submit a review to be entered to win prizes. And of course, there's 20% off and a free massage gun deal. So I've put the link for that as well. If you're joining me today, please let me know that you can see and hear me. Before I step into my cool new little box booth here, I just want to make sure I am showing up live on the other end. And it's weird being here on a Tuesday. I usually ask you how your weekend went, but I had some technical issues yesterday, I think much related to the time change. A couple times a year, if you've got events and Zoom calls and things set up, you can probably relate to all of a sudden the time changes, and so do other things. So it looks like I am live on the other end. Facebook user, I can see and hear you. Thank you for letting me know that. So I'm in the Rejuva Cure today. So for those of you that may not be aware, I don't, if you follow the VIP group, I'm not sure how you could not be aware. How cool is that? I wanted to talk about some user tips today, and some of these are somewhat common sense, but there's lots of different choice between the box sauna, the dome sauna, the blankets, the wraps, red light, infrared. So, sometimes it can be overwhelming as to, deciding what's best for you. So I thought I would start at the top of the box as far as space commitment and investment, and talk to you from the Rejuva Cure today, and talk specifically about, how to get the most out of using your sauna. If you are not using the box sauna, you're using the dome, you're using the blankets, the lay down, all of this is applicable regardless of which sauna you are using. The only thing that's going to vary to a degree is your temperature settings. So just a sort of a common sense thing that I can't find everything in science. So much of what I speak from often comes from experience. And this is the 7th box sauna I have owned in my day. Almost 2 decades ago, when I started as a facility, saunas were a very popular treatment. I had as many as 4 and 5 going in the colder months. And there are things that I have learned. And as a user, just like exercise, just like using your vibration plates or any products, there's going to be a little bit of preference that comes in. There's going to be a little tolerance that comes in. And then, of course, we want to address any issues that you may be dealing with. So if you are dealing with medical concerns, if you have heat sensitivities, sometimes heat sensitivities is a medical thing. It's not just you don't like heat. So if there's reasons that you're to be cautious with using heat, infrared can be actually a very good technology because it's different than the steam saunas and those other things, other forms of heat that you may not have the tolerance for. And there's ways that you can modify using your sauna, but first clear with your doctor, therapist, care provider as to whether infrared is applicable, or go try a session at a friend's house or a facility and give it a good chance. Very often with a sauna, just like a vibration plate or a red light belt, you don't really get a good indication in one try. There's things, especially with a sauna, that your body goes through, anything from detoxification to putting you to sleep to increasing your lymph and circulation. There's all these body systems that are awakened, enhanced, and exhilarated by these technologies. So sometimes, it's like taking a medication. I like ideally, a couple, 3 weeks, ideally a month for you to try something to really give your body a chance, your mind, to see how you're going to adapt to this technology. It's very easy to have not the best first session, not necessarily because of the technology you're trying, but maybe it's just a bad day, or you're having a pain management issue or a calendar issue. So if you're looking at these types of technologies, as I go through the tips, there's a couple of things where I always say experiment. And sometimes experimenting is a matter of trying to fit these self-care tools into your lifestyle. What I may recommend or what Life Pro recommends, there's no definitive path to getting from, outlining that goal to the finish line. So I want you to experiment, try different approaches with your sauna, but don't mix it up every session. Give yourself 3-4 sessions with some of the tips I'm recommending today, see how you do, and then do a readjustment or a reset if you want to modify from there. Certainly in adding time. Be conservative, guys, just like anything. So first of all, coming to you live from the Rejuvicure. I've got the lovely chrome lights, and the oxygen generator is turned off today, so you can hear me. But I'm hoping you can see me okay. One of the things that I love about this sauna, and I'm very bad for being mindful about, is keeping a bottle of water by me. I love drinking coffee and fruit juice and all those other things, but I'm not the best about water. And I'm getting into the habit. There's a cup holder that comes with this one. Tip number 1, be hydrated. This is a common sense tip, and I'm not talking chugging back a liter just before you hop in the sauna. I want the day of, and ideally in a lifestyle basis, you're doing this on a regular basis. Guess what? A sauna turns up the heat. It ramps up your sweat production because it's supposed to. It's boosting that immune system to be more effective, and the sweating requires you to be hydrated. Want to make sure that that's very, very clear. So before, during, and after your sauna, make sure that you are hydrated. Avoid alcohol or other dehydrating beverages within 24 hours. Foods as well, anything, super salty. There's certain things that, maybe you follow a food plan, maybe you do not, but there's some certain common sense things. I wouldn't live on potato chips for the day before you get into your sauna. Make sure you're not only avoiding things that are going to be counterproductive to the reason you're using your sauna, but, counterproductive to life in general. Give your body the fuel it needs to function properly. I would like you to allow, 8 to 15 minutes. If you're using the box style, you want to get an opportunity to warm up a little bit, especially if you've got it in a cooler area of your home, maybe in the basement like I do. And it's November, turning into winter here. If you have a heat sensitivity, it's a great way if you want to experiment or see how that sensitivity has grown or changed. Get into your sauna part way, whether it's the booth, whether it's a blanket. Don't wait until it's at full temperature. Warm up with it the rest of the way. This is also a recommendation I do with a lot of my kids. Yes, kids can use saunas. Guess what? If you had a preemie, what do you think they were in at the hospital? It was a little baby infrared sauna. This is the oldest, most studied technology out there, but a lot of people, it's called something else because it's a medical thing. But infrared heat is very passive, and there's very few people that cannot use it. Do your homework, but if you are sensitive to heat, or you're just a little bit fearful as to how you'll react, maybe you're going through menopause and you don't want to have flashes like me, get in part way at a comfortable temperature and warm up with it to the temperature that you've had set. You'll find you don't bring the sweat on as quickly, and you may be able to tolerate. You're still getting the benefits of the infrared light. You're just not stepping in at full oven temperature. So modify and experiment. There's that word I said I was going to use lots today. Please remove your shoes, your jewelry, your watches, your hearing aids, your earbuds, anything metal, plastic, anything that is not on your body. If you are going to wear a bra in the sauna, I'm doing that for your own comfort today, not so much mine. But there's metal clips, and they're usually polyester or nylon. Remove it all. Leave it outside the sauna. That also includes your electronic devices. I don't want to see you guys sitting in here with your laptops. I know we got to get work done, but this is taking some time out for that self-care. Certainly you can set your tunes up outside, but avoid, as I said, the earbuds. You don't want to bring your electronics in here and risk overheating, getting sweat on them. Everything's too sensitive, and there's too much variety out there for us to offer guidelines for every device out there. So good rule of thumb, give yourself a break, put them outside the sauna for the course of your session. Minimal clothing. I'm wearing one of my favorite rompers today. It's cotton. It's super stretchy. It's got pockets for my chapstick, those types of things. So, or wear nothing at all, depending on where you have your sauna set up. If you're in a business, a lot of my clients wanted to use the saunas. Lay down a towel. It's going to reduce, marking in your sauna. They're kind of self-sanitizing with the heat, but you want to keep your wood looking pristine. So have a sauna to sit on to absorb the sweat for comfort. If you do want to wear something loose, organic cotton, those types of things. If you want to ramp up the heat factor, you can add clothing. I've got a sauna suit. It's a little too intense for me, unless I'm trying to, cut weight and things like that. But throwing on a big sweatsuit or wrapping yourself in an organic towel. Life Pro offers the disposable sauna wraps. These are available on their site and on Amazon if you want something that's just a little bit more convenient. So this is a great way. And simply what it's going to do is it's going to help your body contain the heat and bring that core temperature and the rest of your body up faster. So we're going to bring on that sweat sooner. There's reasons you want to bring on the sweat sooner. It's not something I'm suggesting for everybody, but my conditioning athletes, people that are doing, a detox protocol where you want to, for whatever reason, as part of that overall self-care process, that's again something that's probably better guided by your own judgment and whoever your trainer or care provider might be. But there are lots of reasons that people wrap up in the sauna to ramp up the sweat factor for conditioning reasons. And perhaps maybe you just, you can't stand long durations, or you're a busy mom like me that's got to get to other things. Sometimes the reason I did get a sauna suit, and my husband and I have both used it, is, if I can get the same benefits in 15 minutes and get on to other things, I'm really big about the saving time. So sometimes adding more clothing and bringing that sweat on sooner is simply just to get your sweat on faster. Keep towels on the hooks provided. So for this one, there is a towel hook provided. You don't want to leave your big sweaty towels on the floor again for staining. And there's heaters all over in this thing. It's going to present fire hazards. Potentially, you leave it going and you run away and answer the phone and you come back an hour later. So if you don't have a hook, perhaps putting something outside the door. If you're using one of the lay down models, just have something handy. But with the box model, there's a little hook, and I've put that up here on the door. It was the one place where I figured I'm very much klutzy. So it's the one place I figured I wouldn't bonk into it. And because I'm right-handed, it was important for me to have, I think this is coming through backwards, but I had to have my cup holder on the right. What else? Outside of your sauna, your towel that you're sitting on, this might seem like a simple thing, but have some extra ones. There's nothing worse than getting in this. And I find personally, if I haven't used my sauna in a long time, or you're a new user, it usually takes me a session or two before the sweat really starts turning on. And when it does, let me tell you, you're going to want one for here and everywhere else. So have a couple handy. You can't see it on camera, but I've got a little basket here with a few rolled up. Anything organic, again, this is your body. You want things that are going to absorb. And just having a few extra handy is always a good idea. And then just relax, sit back, hydrate. Have some tunes going. There's a stereo built in here where you can add your own tunes. As I said, keep those electronics outside. You want to keep them safe. And after your session, immediately after your session, don't go mow the lawn or go run a marathon unless you're conditioned and have experience using that. For my new users, if you've never used a sauna before, you're just getting back into it, give yourself 10 to 15 minutes, just like exercise. You've raised your heart rate, you're sweating. Give your body some recovery time in the normal ambient room temperature. So sit on the couch, lay down if it feels comfortable, but give yourself a little bit of time to just kind of get grounded, clear your head, rehydrate before you get onto other things or hop in the shower, go to bed, whatever your plans are after the sauna. What else? Okay, I wanted to get into some specific stuff. In the event today, I posted a couple of pictures, and I will repost them in the recorded version of this. But everybody's always asking, just like vibration machines or any type of exercise modality, how long? What temperature? I want to lose weight. I want to improve my psoriasis. And just like exercise, I'm sorry to tell you and crush you that there is no cookie cutter. But I did spend a little bit of time last week playing with this and just sort of, sitting down and really putting some of my experience into what is an ideal starting point. So if you're walking into my shop back in the day or into my home in today's world, what would I set you at and what would I start you at based on what you've told me about yourself? So I've put some of these together. As I've said, I will post this in a better picture, but I'm just going to go over a few of these very briefly for you. And time, temperature, and how often, the frequency of you doing sessions is going to be driven by one thing primarily. It's your lifestyle and your calendar. We all have the best of intentions, but most of us don't have like the most amazing organization or discipline in our time skills. So be realistic when you're sitting down. It's not about what I think is best or what someone else in the VIP group has suggested. Be realistic with the time that you have and you can put forth to it. This shouldn't be a drag. This should be your time away from it all, regardless of how much time you are able to commit to it. So if you're a new user and you're dealing with perhaps some health issues, or you're in declining or poor health for whatever reason, be conservative in both your time and your temperature starting out. So 10 to 15 minutes, try that out, see how you feel. If you do want to go a little longer, maybe try it next session. Give your body, as I said, time after to see how you feel first. For the box sauna, the default when you first start this out is 104 Fahrenheit. And to keep it simple, so you have to think less, I kind of recommend that 100 to 120 range for the first time use. Many people are going to say to me, oh yeah, I got good heat tolerance. I'm good for heat. That's absolutely fine and good for you. But I would rather be conservative and have you add more time than have you crank it up and overdo it, just like exercise, and you be lethargic and over sweat or have a poor sleep because you've exhilarated yourself. So start conservatively. This isn't like every other heat. If you've never used infrared, it's very conservative. It's very relaxing. And, if you're in it and you want to click it up a degree or two, but you always ask me for ranges. So I'm trying to define them. As I said, 100 to 120. And how often? 1 to 2 times a week, maybe 3, every other day, every other 2 days, depending on what your schedule allows. If you're very, very short on time, I know the first question I'm going to get is, well, can I just go longer because I can only do a sauna once a week? Absolutely, you can do a sauna longer than 15 to 20 minutes, but give your body time to get used to it. So if you're only allowed or have time to use a sauna for once a week, maybe you're going to a facility or that's just all the time you have to commit at home, then yes, you could use it a little bit longer, but still be conservative and build up. Don't just get in there for an hour because that's all the time that you have. Give your body time to be accustomed to this new technology. For the conditioned users out there, be that athletically or you have experience already using your sauna regularly. An experienced sauna user or a conditioned sauna user isn't someone who runs marathons. It just simply means your health is probably better prepared to try this new technology with a little bit more intensity. So I would recommend, a starting point of 30 to 45 minutes for our conditioned athletes. Someone that's familiar, been using these regularly, is absolutely fine. Temperature, I'm not going to give you a number. It really depends on your personal comfort. If you've been using it regularly, you should know what's too hot, what's not hot, kind of based on a couple of things. Maybe, you're using different temperatures based on how long you can use the sauna. If you're dealing with poor health, if you're a new user, I want to stress being conservative and building versus a conditioned or somebody using these regularly. And of course, the frequency. So if you're conditioned and you're using them more regularly, you probably can tolerate 3 to 5 sessions or even every day. If you're overdoing it, how do I know, Debbie, if I'm doing it too often or too hot? You're going to feel wiped out or you're going to be dying and you have to get out of it. Common sense. If you can't tolerate it and you're trying to lose 10 pounds to get into that wedding dress, don't suck it up just because, I have to do my 30 minutes to lose my weight. Get out of the box. If you use your own common sense, listen to your body. If you're dying, get out and take a break and go, 28 minutes, I was dying. So do 28 minutes next time. Or if you want to go longer, reduce the temperature. If you want to go longer and you're dying after, make your adjustments accordingly. I'm rambling, and I'm trying not to do that as much in my sessions. So common sense applies, but if you are going to change your settings and you're a regular user, stick with it for a couple sessions, see how you react, see how you recover, and modify based on that. For those of you that are conditioned and that are regular users and you're combining your sauna with other things, I will touch on that a little bit briefly once I get into my next session. So we're going to move on now to goals. But before I completely wrap up time and temp, just a common sense things. I want to review a couple. Recommending a day off when you're starting out between sessions, or if you're not a regular user. Just like exercise, if you're pushing yourself, especially if you're going high temp or long durations, give your body some time to recover, see how you feel. If you're feeling really fatigued, really lethargic, you've got lots of brain fog, you can't drink enough water, these are all signs that you may be overdoing it in your sauna in some fashion. Always listen to your body. As I said, increase, reduce temperature, time, based on comfort and until you become accustomed, especially if you're dealing with a medical condition. As I said, if you're sensitive to heat, please build up a tolerance. And perhaps try getting in with it part way and warming up so you don't get that immediate waft of heat. I think you'll find versus stepping in at full temp, you're going to find it's much more tolerable for a longer period. And especially if you're looking to use it for relaxation, mental clarity, some meditation, a little bit longer is great. But if you can't tolerate the heat, that's just a tip to help you mitigate and become accustomed to the sauna. Once you build up a tolerance, you'll be really surprised. Even with my heat sensitive users, I get so much feedback that, oh my gosh, Deb, I can't tolerate the beach or the sun or my thermal blanket, but the sauna is different. Maybe it's the airspace. Maybe it's just the fact that, you're sweating it out. Who knows? But experiment, and you will find success with this for those of you that are challenged with that now. So goal specific tips. There's too many goals out there. This would be 50 pages if I were to identify all of them. So I spent a little bit of time trying to generalize some of these tips for you. So goal number one, and I have to be there first. Many of you are coming probably at a medical place. But I want to start with medical versus fitness. I know many of you are looking at this for weight loss and get it or complementing your fitness, but many more of you are coming from a medical place, and that's really where some of the I don't know what to do or some of the fear, the stigma comes from. So for medical use, very much as I said at the top with my new and my below health users, first talk to your care provider and ensure that this is even suitable as a treatment for your situation. And it may not even be a treatment. That's the wrong word. Maybe this is just how you want to chill and relax. Maybe this is how you want to help lose weight because physically you're in too much pain or your mobility is too poor that, trying to get a sweat on at the gym or going around the block is an impossibility. There's other reasons medically people look at these. So yeah, talk to your care provider, ensure it's suitable. And if you're looking at complementing it with other therapies, those type of things, have a discussion with them. If they're not familiar with infrared saunas and you do need some support, tag me at Debbie with a Y, and I'll be happy to answer some brief questions. I'm not here to offer medical advice, however. So recovery, symptom management, common reason a lot of my athletes and my conditioned, maybe you're training for something specifically. A sauna is an awesome way after all the other stuff you're doing, exercise-wise, massage-wise, to help the body recover, ramp up that lymphatic, that circulation, oxygenate the body, and just expedite recovery in a very passive way. Plus, it just feels awesome. When you're really sore and you're just achy, there's nothing, sometimes I know you're supposed to use cold, but there's nothing I love more than heat. So this is an awesome way to boost recovery. And while you're in there, if you practice breathing, if you don't, you need to look into that. But, practice some breathing, some meditation, incorporate some stretches, whatever you would do for recovery on the floor outside the sauna, try some of that stuff. Maybe you're doing some manual lymph drainage. There's all kinds of things that you guys are doing for self-care now. You're sitting here. Why not ramp up what you're doing? Just my tip. Weight loss and conditioning. You notice that I've got a big light every time I come out. It looks like the heavens are coming down and inviting me. It's just my extra lighting. Weight loss and conditioning. Obviously, it's a no-brainer to add an infrared sauna for those of you that have looked into this. It's a great way to ramp up losing weight. It's a great way to increase aerobic function in general. So for those of you looking to lose weight, that's not always us women that are looking to get into those New Year's dresses. A lot of times it's our medical users that have just been unable to be active regularly to combat that ever ongoing metabolic change where we're packing on calories versus taking them off. So an infrared sauna is a great way to elevate your heart rate passively. For those of you that are dealing with cardiac issues of any kind, this is a very researched, very studied way to facilitate not only your recovery, but just your overall lifestyle. So you need to look into this, whether you're a conditioned athlete training for an event, maybe you're getting ready for the Ironman, or maybe you're recovering from surgery or a heart attack or God forbid, a heart transplant. I've worked with several of those in my lifetime. And, it can be night and day just based on knowledge between your care providers. One's not familiar with the research. And quite frankly, your doctors and your therapists, there's so much information out there. Take control of your self-care and do some research. Go into Google, infrared sauna and heart attack, infrared sauna for recovery from heart attack. And you'll be blown away at the pages of information that is presented to you. Boosting lymph and detoxification. This is to a degree a complement to any things. It's more something the sauna does, but I know many of you are looking to ramp up your detoxification, to ramp up your lymphatic movement, boost immunity, but so are my athletes and my medical users. So this is more something the sauna does, but for those of you that are looking specifically to boost that lymph and that circulation, I recommend 3 to 5 minutes of some sort of activity before, even after the sauna, to just ramp up and get that lymph, that detoxification going at a completely different level. The other reason I love to do a little bit of activity prior, I work with a lot of lymph deficiencies where the lymphatic system just isn't functioning. It's been compromised due to surgery or perhaps a condition. And you need to get moving. Lymph is one of those things that only moves when you move. Now, saunas and other things help facilitate that. But your vibration plate, your Dash X, any of these tools where you can just get a little bit of movement prior to get in the sauna, your blanket, whatever it is that you're using to ramp up and just get that process going. Not only are you going to have a better outcome, but you're going to feel better after the sauna. So many of my clients that have poor mobility, you're terribly toxic and recovering something, after you've been sitting for 20 minutes in heat, guess what? Oh, you're stiff and you're sore. Same if you're laying down. So a couple, 3 minutes afterwards, just to help finish things up and get things moving along the pipe is a great way to ramp up. If you're specifically looking for lymphatic and detoxification, a little bit of activity before and after your sauna is awesome. Chronic areas. There's another whole 500,000 page list right there, but I'm going to summarize it to chronic conditions, chronic areas, tension, those types of things. A great way to ramp up your sauna use prior could be the activity thing that I just discussed for the lymph and the detox. But if you've got a massage gun, if you've got a leave a red belt, if you're using any other things and you've been using them regularly, combining your other self-care tools with your infrared sauna is just going to ramp up the benefits of both. What I don't want you doing is listening to my session today and going, oh, I have 15 things in the closet that I haven't used in 10 years and starting them all today. Migrate, especially if you're dealing with chronic issues, start with one thing, stick with it for a period of time before you add the next thing. If you're not using an infrared sauna right now, but you have been using other things regularly, start as a new user, 10 to 15 minutes at a moderate temperature in conjunction with the other things that you're doing. If you haven't been using your massage gun or your infrared sauna, pick one, start with it, and add the other a week or two in. The reason I recommend not starting a whole bunch of things all at once is very commonly, if you have really, really awesome results, or God forbid, you have a detrimental result, or, you're tired or you overdid something, it's very hard. Was it the gun? Was it the sauna? was it the vibration plate? It becomes hard to kind of extract things out of that recipe of your self-care, overall self-care, to maybe switch gears or modify where we may need to for those chronic issues. And sometimes with your chronic issues, they themselves vary. You got good days and you got bad days. So if you're using something regularly, you've had an opportunity to sort of measure how your body feels on the good days and how your body feels on the bad days. So by adding a new intervention like a sauna or a blanket, you can also be mindful of how your body's reacting to it, adjust and modify accordingly, and know that it's the sauna, or know that it's the massage gun or the vibration plate or whatever, because that's the only new thing that you've been playing with. Same goes with meds or any natural treatments. Give your body a chance to be introduced to one thing at a time. Then you can document and sort of make a mental note as to, oh, that's how Debbie is on lavender when she's in the sauna, or whatever it is that you're combining. So keep it simple and introduce combining things, especially with your chronic issues, one at a time. So for your chronic users, especially if you're dealing with pain, I like to recommend using your self therapies more frequently for less time. So less time more often as those symptoms present themselves. If today is a really bad day and you happen to do a sauna session yesterday and it gave you relief, go ahead and do another session, but keep your times minimal. Just let it give you the relief. Don't sit in here for half an hour. Sometimes when you're dealing with chronic conditions, and I said especially pain itself makes you fatigued. It's hard on the body. So we want to make sure that you're not draining yourself. So I've rambled enough. Stay hydrated. Make sure that you are drinking before, during, and after. Have towels, have comfort, and I'm going to post up my little suggestion charts in here so you can refer back to those. But a lot of this is common sense. And as I said, whether you're using a box sauna, whether you're doing a blanket or a wrap style, a lot of this is common sense. The only difference between the box sauna and any of the others that LifePro offers is the ambient air that your head is exposed to. So very commonly, a lot of people are going to say, well, Debbie said like 100 degrees in the sauna. In this one where you're breathing the hot air and your face is in here, the tolerance is different, and the product is different than when you're in a blanket or in the dome where the head's exposed. So typically when you're breathing the ambient air around you, your body can tolerate those higher temperatures, and that's why you'll see higher operating temperatures on those types of products. One more little thing I will add: if you are using a lay down style, a great little tip. I don't love this in the box sauna, but I do love it in the lay down models. Oh, I got it backwards. I got to show my branding. Okay. LifePro has come out with these wool caps, and if you've ever gone camping in the coldness like I have, a hat is an organic, hemp, cotton. This is a wool version, something that's organic. By putting a hat or a cover on your head, it's actually going to help your body better regulate your temperature while you're in those other saunas where the head is out. So this is a good tip. And this is also a good add-on if you want to ramp up the sweat factor. It's going to keep the heat in. It's going to better regulate. And if your body's allowing all your body temperature to escape through your head, it's working harder to stabilize that core temperature. So this is a good little tip to try out if you have not. So I want to see if I have any questions here and who is joining me. Who has been crazy enough to listen to my rambling to the end? Hello, Miss Kim. How are you doing today? Nice to see you. Hello again, Facebook user. Thanks for doing my sound check for me. As I mentioned, it is Black Friday week coming up very soon. LifePro right now has some early savings. This sauna is 20% off. I did drop a link for that. We have a review contest going on. LifePro's had that going on since the beginning of September. If you submit, it's going to be entered for a draw. So if you have products that you have not done a review on, you should, and get yourself entered into the draw. I am going to drop the details now. If you have not signed up for this promotion, there's a link in the comments here. And if my copy paste has worked properly, you've gotten all the details as well. So once I end this up, you should see all the details magically on that end. I apologize for the time delays and hiccups with the time change yesterday. I do plan to be back here next Monday with some Cyber Monday last minute savings deals. So stay tuned for that. But if you've been considering this infrared sauna right now, it's 20% off plus a free massage gun. Go with Life Pro Direct where you can. Many deals are going on Amazon in many different countries with Life Pro as well. I will try to recap some of those for you. But the best bang for your buck and the best support, of course, is always with Life Pro Direct if you are in the US and Canada. Jennifer, how long can I stay in without cortisol going sky high? I feel I love an hour, but wondering if it's too long. You know what? Again, it's like asking me, what rate your metabolic system is burning at. It's really going to be an individual thing for you personally. I suggest, Jennifer, if you find short duration or high intensity exercise spikes those cortisol levels, you may have a similar reaction in the sauna. So if you're finding that I don't know how you measure whether your cortisol is spiking or not, but if you're finding that it is, perhaps reduce the temperature if you want to go a little bit longer. That's something that you should talk more specifically with your care provider about. But again, it is going to be an individual thing to a degree. I would think cortisol tends to rise when stress levels and oxidative stress is up. So I would think, if anything, this should be helping, but you want to make sure, just for your own tolerance, I don't know what's going on with you personally. If that's something that you should be mindful of, have a quick discussion with your doc or your therapist next time you're there. Let them know what you are using, or jump onto Google and do a little Googling. I think you'd be surprised what's out there. Anytime if you're looking specifically for research, a little tip when you're searching on Google, infrared saunas, cortisol levels, type scholarly at the end, and that's you'll notice more the PubMed and the true information is going to surface to the top versus the guys trying to sell it to you, because it's that time of year, plus it's Black Friday. So I hope that answers your question, Jennifer. If there's something more specific, or if anyone else has questions, especially those of you that are joining this on a recorded basis after the fact, if you have any questions specific for me, please tag me at Debbie with a Y, and I'd be happy to address that. Sometimes when the chats get going, if you don't tag me specifically, and I don't see the notification, I may miss your comment, and I don't want you thinking that I do not want to answer. If you have something that I did not address in today's session that I did not consider, this could be 5 hours long, so I tried to really just tune in on the fine points. But if there is something specific that you'd like me to address, something specific like Jennifer has raised, please feel free to ask those, and I'll do a little bit of digging if I don't have the answer immediately for you. I want you guys to have an awesome day. Don't work too hard, and have a great rest of the week. Thank you for joining me today.